on your mind, weighing it down, heart pounding of the hellish kind. Bonded faith and love seem to separate. I don't understand. I'm from the outside looking in. In times like these, you need a friend. You will persevere. All that holds you back is fear. Be the one your soul shines through. Get yourself in gear. Wipe away those needed tears. Be the one your soul shines through. Be you. And they pass off your plight, pretending not to notice as they fly their kites. You fill this wretched void with burning rain. Don't know what else to do. You just have thoughts of the ways you can get back what's been taken from you. And carrying that spite, you'll never be free. Get yourself in gear. Wipe away those needed tears. Be the one your soul shines through. Create something new. That is what we're meant to do. Be the one your soul shines through. Be you. You persevere. Wipe away those needed tears. Be the one your soul shines through. There's no magic wand that will wave and help you carry on. Be the one your soul shines through. Be
Hi, folks. Welcome to Walking on the Weene side part of It Matters Radio. Trying something a little new today and played a little intro because I love the music, and it is from a group that I think you're going to be really interested in learning about, World 5. And it's an interesting concept. There are 5 people, but today we have their vocalist, and his name is Lou Evans. You also play guitar, I believe.
I do.
And second bass?
Right.
Actually, Lou was a minor league baseball player, so I had to throw a curve at him. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to stop with these puns. What position did you play?
I was a left-handed pitcher.
Left-handed pitcher. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, before we get sidetracked and off into the sandlots, let's talk about World 5. And this is a unique group. You are not one of the original 5, right?
Yes, it's good that you brought that up. That little clip that you played in the beginning was from one of the other singers, and he was good. I liked his voice; it was really rich. Um, yeah, we just have one new song that I wrote and put together, and well, that I wrote as far as the lyrics and composed and sent off to them, that they made sound great and gold with all their instruments.
And that song is
And
called.
Be You.
And folks, guess what? We're going to play that during the break.
Awesome. And yeah, we do have a really interesting thing going on right now, because how we're structured is there are 5 of us that live on 3 different continents.
Mm.
So Raymond and Jimmy, the drummer and the bass player, they both live in Sweden, about an hour and a half from each other. Stefan, the guitarist, lives in New Zealand.
Mm.
And Joe, which is the guitarist, the keyboards, and producer, lives in Houston. And me, the lead singer / songwriter, I live in Concord, California. So how we make all this happen is through the wonders of technology. So if I have a new song that I'm working on, or that I'm ready to send to them, how I do it is I will have either a voice memo on my phone, or I'll do it through a video from my phone, or from my iPad, either or.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have that recording while I will have a metronome app on my phone, or vice versa, the iPad. And I'll listen to that through speakers, through little earbud speakers, at whatever beats per minute and whatever, as far as rhythm it would be, whether it be a 4/4 or a 3/4.
Right.
And while I'm listening to that, I'll be playing that song and that I wrote, and either voicing out the lyrics, or at least phrasing what the lyrics will sound like, just so they know exactly the timing of to when to not sing, or I'm sorry, when not to play their instruments over my voice, where it will be. And then once that's good and set, I send that to them. Usually I send it to Raymond, because he's been my main point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
And once I send it out to Raymond, he usually will add his drum parts on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he will have that either with Jimmy there, or send it to Jimmy to where he will be. He'll add his bass, and then the process keeps going. Send
To
it
the
to
rhythm.
New Zealand. And then
Goes from you to
send
the
it
rhythm
Joe.
section.
Exactly. All those things get all
And then
mixed together, sent to Joe. Joe adds his parts and mixes it and produces all of those, and then sends it back to me, and then I put my real vocals on it. And then I send that back to them. It gets mixed and then mastered, and then that's our final product, and that's what you hear with Be You.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of it. I think it sounds wonderful.
I do too. And again, folks, you're going to get to hear it. But the thing that it's amazing, you can do all of this instead. I mean, you don't have to get together in a studio, and you're putting all these layers together and working together around the world, literally. Do you ever have meetings, band meetings?
That's great that you mentioned that, because we did, I want to say maybe about 2 weeks ago. I was interested because, to be honest, the only person that I've had direct contact with was Raymond, because Raymond was the first person who actually reached out to me. This is a little over a year ago, and he sent me a message saying how he loves my voice, and that he wants to know if I would be interested in being the lead singer-songwriter for World 5. And I listened to the music. I said, oh, okay, these guys are very talented, very good. And he was very persistent with me when I was showing interest. But I told him from the beginning, I said that just to let you know that I'm a very busy guy. I have a part-time job. I have a full-time job as a full-time singer, entertainer, and I I'm about to have, well, my wife and I are about to have a little boy. She's pregnant right now. And
folks, by the way, if you notice, looking off to the side a little bit, that is because that baby now is how old?
8.5 months.
8.5 months, and you are checking his baby monitor.
Yeah, I got the little baby monitor right here. Beep. And he's very soundly sleeping, thankfully, right now. And so he said he totally understands, and I told him that I could only do it part-time. And he said, hey, we all have kids, some even some grandkids, so we're just happy to, for that amount of time that you can put in. And so I did. I first sent him a song that I wrote that was just acoustic and my vocals. Something I wrote years ago. It was just a rough recording with no metronome or anything. I sent it, and then he sent it back to me with all of their instruments on it. And it sounded really good. I was like, wow, okay. And so then I sent him Be You, which was just, a concept by then. I had written the song, but I hadn't fully produced it or anything yet. And I sent him that, and then he sent me back Gold again a couple weeks later. And then the contract was sent to me in December. I took a while to look over it because, I had never signed a deal like that before. So I looked it over. It was from Spectrum Music Group, which I found out was the biggest independent company in the country, in the United States. And so I looked it over, and I understood what I understood, and then I sent it to a contract lawyer, also to a couple of my most trusted friends that are smarter than me that can understand it, and the pros outweighed the cons. And so I signed the contract in January, and I'm very happy that I did. It's a wonderful 3-year contract that I could be a signed recording artist and signed distribution as far as that as well. And so,
and as you said, with a big company, we're talking Spectrum Music Group,
very respectable company, and I get to play with some fantastic musicians, and I'm really, really, I'm honored, and I'm very blessed and that I get to be able to play with these guys. So, even though we haven't got to hang out in person, we did have a powwow. It's the only one I haven't spoken with, or which is hopefully I get to very soon, is Joe. But I had a fun little, I don't know if you know that on Facebook you can also do that in the Messenger. You can do what we're doing. We did it with the 4 of us. Only one we couldn't get is Joe. He was busy at the time. But I got to hang and actually see Stefan and Jimmy and Raymond, and all in a talk, and it was fun. We had like a 45 minutes to an hour, just conversation, just talking, getting to know each other, and see how each other are, and that's important, And so,
glad you mentioned Facebook, because one of the things I wanted to mention, folks, as you might suppose, you're not going to get to go to a concert of World 5 because they're in different parts of the world, but you can get to know them better on social media. First of all, you do have a website, www.world5music.com. And by the way, that's the number 5, folks, not spell it out. But you're also all over the social media, including, as you mentioned, Facebook. You're on Spotify, or, the Music Reverb Nation, things like that, SoundCloud, but also on MySpace, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. I don't know, do you have a YouTube presence?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because of course that's how It Matters Radio is distributed. So
right.
So, are you still performing on your own independently in California?
I am. I do anywhere between 5 to 10 or 11 shows per month. And usually my shows that I do are in smaller venues or private shows as well, where I'll be playing a mixture of my original songs with some cover songs. And I would say the vast majority of my shows are solo acoustic. If I if I do anything bigger with the band, usually it's for either, if it's for my original music, then it would be at a bigger venue where people will pay to come and see us perform. If I do it as far as just a cover thing, usually it's just a solo acoustic, unless I decide to jump in and have a little fun with some of my other friends I play music with as well. So but yeah, I do those in anywhere from wine bars to wineries and vineyards to breweries to music halls to coffee shops to
you like performing.
Yeah,
we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. I'm going to ask Lou to think a little bit about a very important question, okay? And it's based on my love for Willie Nelson. Okay. Yeah. Which would you rather, your little one, I mean, I'm sure you're already thinking about his future, which would you rather he become, a baseball player or a musician? And with that question, we'll be right back.
Woke up, body's aching and worn, still feeling it from the day before. So I stood up and shook it off to start anew. 2 weeks since I walked out your door. First few days when it rained, it poured. Then I pried myself open for what I had to do to get over you.
Trying hard to convince myself that I was better with you walking out. So I found a way to stand up tall without you. Losing sleep with regret and doubt. I couldn't handle what your love was about. So I greet the day with regret of what I have to do to get over you. To get over you.
Over you. Over you. Sometimes I got red with rage, then it crossed my mind just to turn the page. I blew away the ashes with a mouth full of smoke, blinded by the reflection of me. This man in the mirror, still a boy with a dream. I know it's just me that I have to prove. While up, feet down, walked away, now I'm over you.
Welcome back to Walking on the Weene Side. I'm Ken Weene, and this is part of It Matters Radio. And my guest today is Lou Evans, who's lead vocal and guitarist and songwriter with the group World 5 Music. And we were just talking about his hopes for his less than a year-old son. So which would you rather have him be?
Right. So I definitely will be supporting whatever this kid wants to get into, as long as he's not trying to kill people, you know?
Okay.
I will support him if he wants to be an artist or if he wants to be an athlete. If he wants to be both, that's wonderful too. I will be so excited and happy to show him both of those things. He's already come to a few of my shows, and so I'm excited about that. I had actually, about 2-3 weeks ago, I had a baseball lesson that I gave to a bunch of kids, and I brought him with me. I was holding him. He's, I think, quite a little too young to really have an understanding, of both of those things really yet. Well, maybe a little more music, because music, puts him to sleep, and music kind of grabs his attention right away. I can play for him, like we're playing a little lullaby or something, and he's with me, and sometimes he watches me while I'm rehearsing, and so he gets a bit more exposure to music as of lately. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, I want him to be athletic, because I just want him to be active. I want him to be getting into things. I think he'll want to, just because naturally I'm still pretty active. I still once in a while. Well, I should say this summer I'm probably going to go out and play ball again just for fun this year. I play sometimes with a group of guys, a bunch of other ex-pros in this little kind of Sunday league just for fun and stay active. And I still love to compete, and I still got it. I still have a pretty good arm. So I bring him out for those, and that'll be kind of fun. You can watch Daddy play. As far as with music, I would want to be at every show. I love seeing him out there.
He doesn't add his vocals to the show when you're singing?
Oh, sometimes, yeah. Yeah, if his needs aren't met, then he's going to be a tenor like his dad. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, so.
Now you started
so
playing.
To answer your question, I'm sorry.
No, go on. No, please.
No, I was going to say, to answer your question for music or baseball, I want to say music and baseball, and whichever he starts putting more of his love and energy into, I will 100% have his back.
Great answer. So now, did your folks support you in your music and your baseball?
Right. Well, yeah. I think how I should answer this. So, my mom and dad. This is a story in itself. My mom and dad were 34 years apart. If my dad was still alive, he would be 98, and my mom tomorrow will be 64. And so when, as I was growing up back in the 80s and 90s, that's two different styles of music that I was introduced to. My dad, when I would hang out with him, if we were on a trip driving somewhere, we would always listen to this AM radio station, and it's called Magic 61. And it played a lot of the classics, from Bing Crosby and Nat King Cole to the Andrew Sisters, Ella Fitzgerald, Johnny Mathis. And so I got exposed to some of that music. And then when I'd hang out with my mom, or when we would drive somewhere, she would have on, she loved Elton John and the Beatles and Monkees. And so that was
her classics.
Yeah, and so I got exposed at a very young age to a lot of different genres and styles of music. And so they definitely supported my mom. What way I say it was different to answer. My dad was born and raised in a small town in Kansas, and my mom born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. And so there's two different cultures and two different ways. Yeah, just different. And so my dad was very old-fashioned. He did like music. It wasn't a big, more prominent thing where, son, you should go out and sing and do things. He was a lot older, and he had some health issues too that he had to manage growing up all through my years of knowing him. And my mom did, though. When I was about 9 or 10, she bought this karaoke machine because she loved singing karaoke. And there was always guitars in the house. My mom had an acoustic guitar on both sides of our fireplace. One would be a nylon string, the other was a steel string. And so when I was about 14 or 15, I started picking up the guitar and playing. I wish I was started younger. But as far as when she got that karaoke machine, one time she took me to this little kids singing competition. And I was really shy. I didn't do it. I watched these other kids sing, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. But I've been singing as far back as I can remember, Ken. I don't remember when I started. I just know that I always enjoyed it, and the only people who really knew was my immediate family. And it wasn't until I was about 18 that I finally went out and sang in front of people. And that's a funny story too.
And when you did, I bet they applauded wildly.
Yeah. It was. So I used to work. One of my very first jobs was I was a host and then a busser and then a server at Red Lobster in Milpitas, where I grew up. And they started putting karaoke in there every Thursday night in their lounge area. And so I was 18, and my sister, who is closer in age to me, she's 20 months younger than me, she came in with her best friend, and as this was going on for a few months, this karaoke, and they came in and sang a song together, and I saw it, I was like, wow, if my sister can do this, and her best friend, I should be able to do this. I don't see why. I can sing. And so I put in a song, and it was Lately. So Lately by Stevie Wonder, except I did the Jodeci version of it, this other 90s R&B duo style of it. And I just closed my eyes and started singing it and not thinking about anything. And it just flowed out of me. I just didn't want to look at anybody yet. And then I kind of peeked my eyes open. And I remember there was this girl in the audience that I went to high school with that was super cute. I had a little mini crush on. And she was looking at me like with wide eyes because nobody knew that I sang. And I got done. I got a big ovation. And after that was done, that boosted my confidence, because the more positive responses, I naturally wanted to do more, and then I started going and finding other open mics.
So wait, but we gotta know. Did you ask her out?
Oh man, no, I didn't.
I'm sure your wife was appreciative of that.
Yeah, but yeah, I did do that. I just had a lot more confidence because I got a lot of positive responses, and so I started writing some of my own music. I was already playing guitar by that time for about 3 or 4 years, and started writing more music. And all along that while is when baseball happened too, and as far as getting into pro ball, I got drafted when I was 21 to the Marlins, and that was a really cool experience. And then during that time, my second year actually is when I got hurt. I snapped I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but it all makes sense. I'm just trying to piece it all together for you, give you a little timeline. In my second year, I snapped my ulnar collateral ligament, throwing slider. Following year, I got Tommy John surgery, which is a reconstructive elbow surgery. And I made it back strong. And ultimately, I chose music, though. And so from 2001 to 2005, I was with the Marlins. I had a quick little stint with the Chico Outlaws in independent ball. And then, yeah, I did. I hung it up for music in June of 2005. All along the way, even in the off season, I was playing music, whether it be open mics or if I had a gig, or even in Florida. And I made some great friends going out and finding places to play when I was injured. And then after June happened in 2005, I just went out and looked for any place I can perform. I started with open mics, which are great. If there are any musicians that are starting out, doesn't matter how old you are, but if you have a song that you've written, or maybe even covered that, and you're just getting better at with whatever instrument or anything that you're wanting to play, I strongly suggest going to an open mic, because when you feel like you got something, whether it's something you think, wow, yeah, this will make me famous, or this will make, I'm going to send this out to the world, and they're going to love it, people will sing along to it, or it could be something else. Say it's something that's just for you, or something that you've written for someone that's very close to you, just because it's just written out of love and that's it, but you want to share it. And it's a great outlet, going to open mics, because when you go there, it's great for influence, because you're seeing other artists that are sharing, and you can get beautiful influence from that and inspiration. And also, it's just a very wonderful way to cultivate relationships with people that are, kind of swimming in your same pool, or doing things, or not, that you really are finding something you want to vibe with, or you want to figure out, or you're curious about, as far as with music and such. So,
and it gives you a live audience experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've booked shows from going to open mics. I've met musicians that I've played with. I've made friends. I've showcased songs that I've just written. I've showcased songs that I wrote years prior, and it's been wonderful. So I always suggest doing that. So that's how I got started. I started doing that, and I'd go to somebody else's show and show them. I remember when I was in Redding, there was this band. I was up in Redding, California. There was this really like the cool band of the area was playing, and I went there, and I brought my CD at the time, and I had a few recordings on it, and I gave it to the lead singer. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" It was during their break. "Hey, I just came here. It's the off season for me, but I play music, and I'd love to see if maybe you'd be interested. If you like it, maybe I can jump on during your break and play a song or two." And he said, "Oh yeah, cool, thanks." Didn't hear anything for weeks, and so I went to another one of their shows, and I said the same thing. He said, "Oh yeah, my apologies, I gave him another CD." And then a couple days later, he gave me a call and said, "Wow, Lou, hey, I just want to say, yeah, I listened to your music. That was wonderful. It was great. Yeah, we're playing this Friday at this place, and you're more than welcome." I said, "Okay." And so that was an in. I was just persistent, because I knew that was what I wanted to do. Was be a singer-songwriter and entertainer. And,
it's interesting, because the first song you've written, I'm sure there are going to be many more, but the first song you've written and performed with World 5 Music is Be You. And your story is about being you.
Yeah.
Being very true to yourself.
Yeah.
Well, folks, you have gotten a chance to hear a little bit about World 5 Music, and again, you can find their music all over, places like Spotify and such, and they do have their own website, world5music.com, and they are out on Spectra Music Group. Now, how about for you personally, Lou? Do you have your own website as well?
I do. And it's louevans.net. So LOUEVANS.net. And that will have some music that I've written in the past few years. And I have a full-length album, an EP, which is kind of like a half an album, and I have a single that's out as well. And so you can see some of my music. I definitely am very excited to be writing and composing and singing some new music with World 5 too. I already have 3 or 4 other songs that I'm working on too, and getting ready to send their way. In fact, once we get done with our little thing here, I will be doing just like I mentioned in the beginning, where I'll be putting together a song with the iPad and metronome and all that. So I'm very excited to be sending it. These guys are great. They're wonderful musicians, and they're very supportive, and I really wish that we could all get together someday, someday soon.
When the group World 5 Music is famous enough and selling enough, well, maybe you can all afford. Then you have to pick out which place you're all going to get together.
Right.
Do you want to be in New Zealand? Do you want to be in Sweden or in California?
Yes. I would love to do that. I'd love to see. Yeah, I've never seen Sweden. I've never seen New Zealand.
I haven't been to Sweden. I have been to Denmark. That's as close, and it's quite lovely up in that part of the world. And I have been to New Zealand, and that is top of the charts. It's just a glorious part of the world.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
I'm not as fond of Houston. But they have good barbecue, so we'll forgive them.
Yeah.
Lou, thanks so much for joining me on Walking on the Weene Side today. And I know Monica wanted very much to join us. Unfortunately, the realities, folks, you all know she was caught up in the Camp Fire up there in Northern California, and the realities are that often she has no capacity to get on the internet because the infrastructure was so screwed up, and her life situation is so screwed up. But she really wanted, because I have to tell you, when she sent me the initial email and said, "Hey, Ken, we have to have these folks on," Monica loves people. She loves everybody, but I very seldom get from her, "We have to." It's like more like, "Ken, if you want to." But this one was, "We have to," and partly because she loves the music, and partly because she and I are just blown away by this wonderful approach to integrating the world in a time when some people are building walls and building divisions. And then we come across this group who are working to make the world smaller, to make it more connected. And I think that really blew our minds too.
You hit that right on the head with that, Ken. The world is becoming, especially our country right now, is becoming so polarized in a lot of ways. And one thing, it doesn't matter where you stand with your values or your politics or anything, or your social or economic status, music always brings us together. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we can make it happen now with technology. So thank you for acknowledging that. I also want to acknowledge Monica and say, hey, my prayers are with you for your situation in Chico and Northern California area. That is very tough. I had a very friend that I sang with. She went to visit her mom in Paradise, which literally burnt the city.
That's
burnt
where
to the
Monica's
ground.
home is.
And so, so my heart is with them up there. That's it's very sad what happened, and thankfully my friend and her mom got out in the nick of time. It's very bad. So yes, my prayers are with her for that, and I'm very grateful that she made the attempt to be able to be with us with this. I understand as far as internet issues and such. So
thank you very much, Lou. And I'm going to be listening for more music because I think what you guys are doing is great, and I share her enthusiasm for your sound. And thank you so much for sharing BU with us today.
Yeah. Thank you. My pleasure. Yeah.
My feet, heavy heart weigh me down, and my soul's where do they bleed? Take a seat in a deep breath, check the shape I'm in. Think of how great I am rather than will be or have been. You can always find your way even in the dark. Give yourself a little shake till you find that spark, which ignites the flame that burns within. Then you light on your toes with a silly little grin. Little grin in it. I spent a long time climbing up the mountain just to find myself, and back at the bottom feels like I've gotten nowhere. But after all this time, there's a peace that I have found, staring from where I'm standing, knowing I made it back down. I look up to the sky, thank my lucky stars I'm alive, ready to shine for a change rather than just getting by. You can always find your way even in the dark. Give yourself a little shake till you find that spark, which ignites the flame that burns within. Then you light on your toes with a silly little grin. And there's no mistaking that you're divine in your own way, and tell the world that this love in your heart will forever stay. Saving grace, so much that I forgot the strength that's within me, sounding up to transcend the hearsay and the mind thieves. It's been fed in my head that I'm free and I melt down. Now I remember my path and my skill and my know-how. You can always find your way even in the dark. Give yourself a little shake till you find that spark, which ignites the flame that burns within. Then you light on your toes with a silly little grin. Little grin in it.
Future ahead for that guy.